All right, Ashley, you on?
I am, yes, ma'am.
Well,
I'm trying to get everything situated real quick.
all right. Jackie, do you need the link again, hon, or you got it? Oh, she went mute. Okay. All right, there she is. Yay! Yay! We got it. All right, we're good. Hey, guys. Welcome, everyone, to another one of our live Q&As. So, Chris I'm going to show everybody. Where are you at, babe? There's Chris. We are working out of a hotel tonight, guys. We're up here in Port Canaveral. So we don't have our usual studio tonight, so bear with us, guys. So we're going to be doing this here. I've got Jackie, I got Blake, I got Ashley, and Chris will be checking the questions for us, kind of behind the scenes, so to speak. Is it good, Jackie? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. Sorry.
Okay. No, you're right. Ashley, are you good?
I am. I'm still fighting with Andy.
Let's go put him with the dog.
I don't need that tonight. God.
All right, guys. Well, welcome. While we're waiting for a lot of people to come on, I'm going to go ahead and put a quick update here on some of the deadlines coming up. And then I'm going to read the disclaimer, and then we'll get into questions. So I saw we already have one question from Jeff, which we're going to get to your question first, Jeff. But if you've got questions, guys, now is the time to put them in the comment section for us, and Chris will make sure that those questions get put up there, and we'll hopefully give you the answers. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to remove everybody. I'm going to put this here. All right. So couple deadlines coming up, everybody. Clothing allowance. If you think you qualify for clothing allowance, you must file by August 1st. That's in, 10 days. If you have a qualifying device or cream, be sure to check out our YouTube video on the clothing allowance, because it will give you all the information, and all the links are in the description section.
For the devices and creams.
Right, for the devices and creams, it's in there, the links to them. Here's the bigger one, the Pact Act Deadline. So from what's being the buzz is you need to file at least an intent to file, also known as an ITF, by August 9th to potentially have the effective date of August 10th, 2022, when the Pact Act bill was signed. So a lot of people are scrambling to do this. So make sure, if you potentially have some Pact Act claims, that you at least go ahead and submit that intent to file, put it in place. But the deadline is by August 9th. If you potentially could get the August 10th, 2022 requirement for the effective date. Now, I know there's some things that can come into factor with the effective date. So just gotta make sure you get it in there, guys. And Chris, what do I do here? I go back to this. Nope, that's there. How do I get just us? There we go. Yay! Kind of navigating through this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get the disclaimer up here, and then we're going to roll into questions. So let me get over here and put this down. Oh, what happened over here? Any idea? I need Word. Ah, there it is. I got it. Here we go. All right. Hopefully everybody can see this. So the live Q&A disclaimer. So VA claims veterans helping veterans is not an accredited agent, VSO, attorney, or entity recognized by the Department of Veterans Affairs, also known as the VA, and is not affiliated with the VA in any way. We do not assist veterans with the preparation, presentation, and prosecution of VA disability claims for VA benefits. This Q&A is solely for guidance purposes and should not be considered as medical or legal advice. All right, now that we got that out of the way, let's go back to everybody. Yay, there we are.
Just for the ITF video has been posted in the comments.
Okay, Chris is channeling to me. The ITF video is in the comment section if you need the link to that as well. So again, I want to thank everybody for coming on with me. We got a great group here. We'll try and answer your questions. And so I think, does anybody else have anything to add, or should we go to the questions? Jackie, Ashley, or Blake? We're good?
I'm good.
All right.
I'm good. Yeah.
All right. You go. You got that one, Ashley?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The first question.
All right. So, any idea of average wait times for Pact Act claims?
Until it gets granted.
Jackie?
Oh,
Pact Act claims don't have an estimated time frame. They started working them January 1st or January 4th, technically, because they were all off the holiday of this year. So it would really depend on how you submit it. If it's an initial claim, if it's an appeal, what appeal lane you choose, if it's a supplemental claim, an initial and original claim. Short answer, we don't know. It's going to take about how long that the claims for however you file it are taken. So be patient. VA has they're sending out emails to veterans all the time. We've done this many amount of claims. We've processed this many claims. So there was a huge influx of Pact Act claims, and there was a backlog, because don't forget, the law went into effect August 10th. August 10th, 2022.
Yeah.
And then we had to wait for the VA to hire people, train people, go through all those processes. They started processing the claims in January. So there was a 6-month backlog there. And then, they still have all their regular claims and whatnot. So if you haven't got a answer yet, be patient. They're working on it. If you qualify for some sort of special process, then make sure you put it on your claims form. If you're experiencing a hardship, you can document that, send in some proof, and they can put flashes that may allow them to expedite your claim. Homeless, over the age of 85, terminal, special processing too for Purple Heart recipients.
And we dropped the link to the Pact Act YouTube video.
So a bunch of things. So, if you don't qualify for the special processing, just hang in there. They're a priority. They're working on it. So just be patient.
Oh, that was the debunk one? No, I wanted the Pact Act. So we're going to drop the Pact Act YouTube video of the Pact Act bill passing, and we're going to drop the video that Jackie did with us with the presumptives on Gulf War and burn pits. So be sure to check those. Chris is going to put those links in the comment section in just a few minutes. And just to touch basis on this, and that the buzz has been going around, Jackie, Blake, and Ashley, and I'm sure you guys have seen it, is people are asking whether or not they should file claims when they're 100% PNT because they've got potential illnesses or things due to the Pact Act. So I know there's there's so many different variations of opinions, but typically when you're 100% PNT, you don't touch anything, right? Leave it alone, go on with life. But there is also that requirement where DIC, which we're going to be doing a whole series on that down the road, which is the death indemnity compensation. So when somebody has 100% PNT, if they have not met that threshold, that's a requirement for DIC, a lot of the veterans are asking, should they go ahead and file? What's y'all's take?
If it's going to kill you before the 10 years at 100% is up, yes, file.
Yeah.
But if it's something that's not going to kill you in the next 10 years, no.
Right.
And I know I disagree with you guys on this all the time. I think if you rate it, you should claim it. If you can be service about it. So for the person who said it's probably a hidden trap, you are wrong. That is false information, and stop spreading false narratives. It's ridiculous and unfounded, and just I can't even go there. Stop.
It's not a hidden trap.
A lot of these are presumptive, so they're not going to look into opening other conditions. They're going to look and see if you have the qualifying service, if you have a diagnosis, and then they're going to grant it. Now,
and look at the myth and fact. I just put out a myth and fact over the Pact Act, and that link is in the comment section. So corporal duty, you should really check that out, because that's going exactly to what Jackie is saying, that just because you potentially might have something to file due to the Pact Act, the VA is not going through your entire files to figure out what they can look at to try and reduce you or sever. All of that floating around is as bad as some of the other myths going around.
The VA is not out to harm you in any way.
It's all about what you can prove with the evidence you can provide.
And I will just say, like, if you're filing a claim for a respiratory condition under Pact Act and you're service connected for other respiratory conditions, well, that's really not far off. So yes, they could potentially look at the other stuff. I mean, this is common sense stuff, okay? But if you are only service connected for a mental health condition or a back strain and you want to claim sinusitis, I mean, come on, let's use our intelligence here. Okay. They're not going to purposely look at that unless there is a unmistakable glaring error that they have to call. Like if everything was done right, they're not going to look at it. So don't let that. Yeah,
and a lot of the Pact Act claims are dealing with rhinitis, sinusitis, and asthma because those manifestations of 10 years, that went away with the Pact Act signing. So those are a lot of service-connected disabilities that a lot of veterans are entitled to because they had that issue, but that manifestation within 10 years was preventing you from getting service-connected. Again, we'll get on because I know we got a lot of questions looming right now, but, you know, watch the myth versus fact about the Pact Act that I put out. Make sure that if you potentially have a Pact Act claim to file, that you put in the intent to file at least by August 9th of this year to potentially get the effective date of when the bill was signed. So
and
to answer just what,
stop spreading those false rumors. You're hurting veterans when you do that. Stop.
He said thank you for changing my mind. So there
yes,
you go.
Thank you.
Yes.
So I appreciate that.
So Jeff, back to your original question, how long will it take? It's probably going to take just as long as any other. Oh, there's my BFF. We're here. We're going on a cruise tomorrow, guys. So my girlfriend's here with her husband, and we're doing a bunch of the questions. Here, say hi. Say hi to my audience. This is my girlfriend.
Everybody.
Yes,
Hey.
this is Tracy.
You guys got a good girl here. She does good things.
Yes. So the answer to Jeff's question is there's no rhyme or reason of how long it's going to take. That's just it's going to process as long as it takes, guys. All right, so let's get our next question up. Yes.
All right, so this is from Mr. Dove. So good evening. I filed my first disability claim and had an ITF in May this year, 32 years later. I'm confused on why I'm told they can see the ITF but not the claim. Intent to file was on May 10th.
Oh, my first disability with an intent to file May of this year.
What did he claim?
I'm confused
So
on why
when was the actual claim filed?
the ITF was received May 10th. So wait a minute. He filed his first disability claim and an intent to file. Okay, so hold on. If I'm understanding this question correctly, he filed a claim and he put an intent to file?
He did.
At the
Okay.
same time.
Okay,
If you
so
do it on the same day, that ITF is
it's gone. Yeah. If Richard, if you filed your claim on the same day you created the ITF, that claim went through. There's no longer an ITF. So
it looks like that he's saying that they can see the ITF and not the claim. So if your ITF was received in May, and that's still good because it means it's still active. So it sounds like maybe there was an issue in receiving your claim. I would call do you have it off the top of your head, Chris?
Yeah.
The 800 1000 number.
you got
The
it.
100 with that number.
Put it up on the screen.
Call that number and verify that for
You
sure.
said
If they received your claim, you also can look at va.gov and go on e-benefits and take a look at it there. If they cannot see your claim and you filed it, but they can see your ITF, just resubmit the claim because you're going to still preserve that effective date for the claim. There's clearly an issue there.
Looks like he filed both at the same time. So I bet that's what's going on. The other option to add to this, Richard, is the Vera virtual. You can go on to vera.com. I think it's .com. I'll have to get the link. But Vera is a virtual way to talk to the VAPs as well. He says I called the 800 number. That's who said they see the ITF. So it sounds like they only see the ITF and not the claim, which is okay. You still have the ITF preserved from May 10th. Just go ahead and file the claim. So I would go ahead and do, he's already answered our question, guys. It's basically, he called and they can see the ITF. So go ahead and file the claim under the ITF now, Richard. I guess that's kind of the answer, right?
If they don't see the claim, then clearly there was an issue in filing it. He should absolutely resubmit.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so this next one is from Jody Stovall. So I was wondering if fibromyalgia can be secondary to PTSD. Also, how?
We never got the second question.
Go lay down.
You need second question.
She
Go
said
lay
also
down.
how, but we never got the follow.
Oh, I was wondering if fibromyalgia can be secondary to PTSD. Also, how? We didn't get the follow-up to that, Jody. But the answer to that is yes. I'm fibromyalgia can be secondary if you have the causation. I mean, Blake, you can talk about the medical side.
Love causation.
Yes, the causation, not
Yeah.
correlation.
Yeah, your physician needs to write a well-worded letter if they believe that is secondary. But Jackie, isn't fibro also a Pact Act presumptive?
Fibromyalgia is a presumptive under 3.317, which is the go for undiagnosed multi-symptom illnesses
Right.
if you have qualified.
So Jody, if you have the service requirements for that, it would probably be easier to file as a presumptive
Yeah.
than it would be to fight the PTSD, because like I said, that letter has to be spot on with both causation and correlation.
And I filed for Jody. I filed for fibromyalgia secondary to my IBS and my PTSD. I had to take it all the way to the judge. So
Yeah,
it's a long process because there's so many mixed symptoms and things like that going on. But
that's a
You
long
can claim whatever you want. They don't have to grant it, but
right,
that's
That's
a
what
long
you
uphill
feel.
battle to get it
claim
granted.
it.
it is. She says she's
Well,
not got
Gulf War.
she's not got four, so she's trying to go the secondary route. So again, if your RA doctor is stating you have fibro, I would ask your RA doctor what is causing your fibromyalgia, and then go from there. If they're saying, yeah, without a doubt, it's your mental health, then either get that word, like, because Jackie loves this. You don't need a nexus. You don't need an IMO. Just get it put into your medical records. It can be a couple sentences that basically your doctor stating, yes, her fibromyalgia is caused due to X disability. That's really all you need.
Yeah.
Reopen.
Yeah. What?
Millie's saying it would reopen her.
Plus, it would reopen her PT. Absolutely, Millie. She's correct. Anytime you file a secondary, guys, the primary is going to be looked at because you're connecting the secondary to the primary. Jackie, incorrect or kind of correct or not correct at all?
So they can potentially reopen it for something like PTSD and fibromyalgia. Like, unless there was something glaring in the records, I wouldn't necessarily think that they would order a new PTSD exam, but
Okay.
you are requesting, that something be looked at. It's possible. I don't think it would be likely in that situation, but I don't know. I don't know what your medical records say. So,
Hey, Jody, Chris, put up the email. Jody, email me at my email, and I'll get with you on a more one-on-one about the fibromyalgia secondary. I probably won't be able to answer you for the next few days, but go ahead and send me an email, and I'll get with you on a more one-on-one basis on that.
Because you got to talk with Blake, like causation. And
Right.
correlation is a big
Yeah. So, all right, what's our next question?
Okay. Our next question is.
I don't have any. What? Okay, we're done.
No, we do. I see them.
He's pulling it up. Hold on.
I see them, Chris.
I see them, Chris. Where is it, Christopher?
Let's try this one.
All right. Oh,
Okay,
Christopher.
so this is
Where did
from.
this one, Chris?
Sorry.
Come on, man. Get with the program.
My bad.
Okay, so Mr. Jeff. So, how
Oh.
in the world do you decipher the M21?
That's a good one. you read and you read and you go, it box this, then you go over here and box this. And if it's not this box, then you go to this box. I mean, I'm a layman person.
Everybody has different interpretations, though.
Seriously, ask somebody smarter than you. I mean, that's what I do. But I mean, seriously, like you have to remember these are government regulations and laws and whatnot. So, they're not always written in lay terms. So it's practice and experience. And that's how you get really good at reading it. That's how you will, like a lot of times, if you have somebody who's more experienced as a VSO or somebody who's been in the system for a while, they tend to be able to explain it a little bit better. But, you got to remember Congress writes all these laws and regulations, and then VA interprets it with the M21. So, it's all kind of some sort of government legalese.
Well, and as laymen, I don't work for the VA, and a lot of us don't, right? But when it comes down to it, that's how I learned. I read the 38 CFR, and I read the M21. And anytime I had a question to myself going, okay, so on the CMP exam, I would sometimes somehow Google and the M21, and then you kind of have to go through the M21 and kind of figure it out. Like, okay, this is my question. And then there's all these different like hyperlinks in the M21. So at the end of the day, Richard, it's really just kind of like, you just got to just kind of educate yourself and kind of read it and understand it and just keep going through it, because that's really how I learned, so that I don't know how you can decipher the M21. It just, I guess, you interpret it. And then even when I have a question, I go to Jackie and I'm like, wait, what does this mean? So
yeah, I ask people all the time for help with it. It's, some of it's experience and a lot of it's experience, to be completely honest.
I'm going to bump this question up.
Okay. Chris is bumping a question up.
Yeah, so this is what we're just talking about.
Okay, so Mama times 6. So, hey guys, thanks for being available. If you have a current claim in, can you file a notice of intact for the Pact Act deadline?
An ITF.
Yes.
If you have a current claim pending, you can put an ITF in place. It doesn't have to be specific for the Pact Act, folks. You just go on and file an intent to file and click the save button.
Caveat on that stuff.
Yeah.
Do not submit a claim and an ITF the same day, because that ITF will be eaten by that claim. If you are going to put a claim in, that's cool. File the ITF after you put in that claim. That way you actually get to use it in the future.
And I think he's saying he has a current claim right now. So
right. So put it in now. Perfect.
Yeah. Go ahead and put the ITF now and hit the save button. You've got a year from today to file under that ITF any and all claims. Good questions.
All right, so our next one is from Corporal on duty. On duty. Do I bother doing Pact Act if I'm already static 70% for mental health?
Depends on what you're filing for.
I was actually talking to some people earlier. I'm kind of up in the air. I can't qualify for Pact Act, but I'm kind of up in the air myself with a TDUI claim.
That has nothing to do with the Pact Act.
I know.
What are you saying? Like, just to use you as an example, because you opened the door, Ashley. You don't qualify for Pact Act, but what is that based on? You had no deployment to Southwest Asia?
I see, Andy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No,
okay.
I mean, I've never deployed.
So the Pact Act has no bearing.
Super common misconception with Pact Act. You don't have to have deployed to have Pact Act consideration. It's terror. It's toxic like exposures. So dependent on your MOS, where you were stationed, what you were exposed to, circumstances of your duty. We're not talking about just deployments making you eligible for Pact Acts. Things like
I'm glad y'all are clarifying on all of that, because I thought it was deployments. Because I never deployed, but our unit, we was under PTDO orders. and we had 68 kilos working with us, lab techs, 68 Sierras working with us, which was like the field people that would go the soil, air,
Ashley.
everything.
Ashley,
There
go
you go.
read the Pact Act bill passing and read up on Tara.
Go read my PowerPoint, Ashley.
And go read her PowerPoint.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, but back to his question since we got off topic. Just because so his question was he's already rated for 70% and his mental health is static. That's irrelevant. If you have if you have Pact Act claims, and you were the one in the very beginning of this live that we're telling everybody about the Pact Act and being, what was the word? It was something to do with, it's a trap. It's not a trap. If you have legitimate claims under the Pact Act, file for them. They don't have anything to do with your mental health. If you have claims that are legitimately due to the Pact Act bill passing, file for them. You deserve to be service connected for them.
The only way it may open your mental health is if you claim anything secondary. But if you're filing for a Pact Act, it should be a primary.
Yeah. So please stop listening to the and do it. All right, next question.
Sorry, your keyboard's backwards.
My what?
Your keyboard's backwards.
My keyboard backwards.
All right, this is from our man, Zach. So the VA received the medical opinion needed to wrap up deferred claims. How long should I expect this to take?
Again,
Nobody can tell you.
nobody can tell you, but if the medical opinion's done, it was already deferred. So that means it was deferred for development. You got the medical opinion. Hopefully
Because
that
the original was a claim Pact Act.
Yeah, we can't predict how long claims take. There's too many factors. Hopefully for you, it's quick because they got the medical opinion back. But if there's a problem and they have to send it out again, then I mean, who knows? It's all a guessing game, and that's why we don't estimate how long claims will take.
And unfortunately, with the Pact Act claims on top of regular claims, it's an influx of claims. So patience is a virtue, but stand by because, if and when you do get it granted, then it's gotten granted with the effective date potentially back to the passing of the Pact Act bill. So just be patient because they're doing the best they can, guys, with claims, but there really is no set time frame on when they're gonna be processed.
I don't know what latrine. I don't know what is this an Army thing? A latrine rumors?
Yeah.
It is.
Oh, okay. Normally we just talk around the water cooler or anything, but we don't normally talk about latrine.
Getting our ratings being changed.
So you want to read it, Ashley?
What does this mean?
They're
Go ahead,
they're randomly decreasing ratings. They don't have time to do that.
Can somebody read the question?
Okay, so this is from Mr. Peter. There's been latrine rumors flooding around at my VA about getting our ratings being changed downward indiscriminately more than normal. Truth or rumor? Thanks. I would say that's definitely a hoax.
God.
I know we went to the field for 5 days and had 180 soldiers sharing 2 latrines. I don't know anything about anything overflowing.
I want to know what Jackie thinks about this.
This is ridiculous. I'm so sorry that all these veterans are scaring each other. Like this.
Exactly. And it's disgusting, to be quite honestly, because you guys put this stuff out here and you just say it in passing and it gets snowballed and everything else. Guess what? We've talked about this before. It takes way more effort than anybody ever wants to put into your claim to lower your rating.
Just
If
randomly.
they lower your rating, there is a very good reason for it, and there is enough evidence to support it. You want to know why? Because they care about their quality and they have to do it because it was wrong or you improved. Oh, and guess what, veterans? You go to medical, you have surgeries, you have treatments. Sometimes your conditions
Get better.
improve, and your rating will lessen. It's just a fact of life.
Well,
I mean, I will kind of caveat on that because with my mental health, it was decreased from 70 to 50.
Because you tried to go to 100.
I claimed sleep disturbances under
Right.
I had been denied sleep apnea and claimed sleep disturbances.
Right.
If you
But they-
look at the actual like qualification, under the different percentages, sleep disturbances falls under that 50 percentage.
Right.
So they just kind of basically looked at my records and said, okay, sleep disturbances 50%.
But the problem with the people at the VA hospitals is this.
Well, and they also have thousands and thousands and thousands of records to look at.
Well, first
But
of
we're not
all, when
talking
you're
about
going, hold
that.
on, let me time out. First of all, when you're at the VA for healthcare, you got all the people talking to each other in this ear and out this and in this ear and blah, blah, blah. The VA healthcare is not communicating to the VA benefits unless you're filing a claim and they need your records, guys. So there's not some secret agent standing over you at the VA saying, ooh, let's see what his is and let's pluck him out and let's reduce him. Guys, you've got to stop listening to this scare tactic that also is floating around on YouTube about other things. It's terrible and it's disgusting.
It's the
Stephanie,
same way
if I-
every
if I
year
can
when
just
the,
add,
Yeah,
the
go ahead.
same
This
way
is-
every year when the budget committee says, "Oh, we need to cut veterans." That's political suicide for anybody that would vote for it.
Yeah.
I just want to make it a point. This is what those people that you want to pay for your medical opinions or pay for these BS exams,
Yeah.
these people prey on you by creating these rumors and causing this fear. So you think that you have to pay $1,500 for a medical opinion to get some presumptive sinusitis service connected when it would have happened with or without the medical opinion and
Right.
attorney. So you need to really use and think about this stuff and really look at the whole picture. These people are trying to scare you into
Yeah.
purchasing services you don't need. It's a racket.
Look at his last comment and duty. He says, I'm grateful either way, but I'm terrified. Don't be terrified to file. I understand some people, some veterans live solely on their disability. I get it. I understand that. But don't be afraid to file for something that you rightfully deserve to be service connected for. Now, don't try to go get sleep apnea secondary to a toenail. Okay?
Yeah.
Most people who work for the VA want to help you.
Yeah.
Grant if you can, deny if you must. Listen to me again. Grant if you can, deny if you must. This is what they teach people. They want to help you, but if the record and the evidence doesn't support that, or the doctor doesn't agree, they can't just go against like medical advice and stuff. So, that's why there's an appeal system. Stop listening to this garbage.
Now, as a caveat to that, I will say that oftentimes we as veterans are too close to the situation. We believe something to be true that the evidence just doesn't support, no matter how much you want it to. So sometimes you get denied and it's like, well, it's right there in black and white. No, it's not. It says it might, or,
Yeah.
So,
I feel very passionately about people.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, and again, and again, we're all human, right? We all make mistakes, guys. There's even raters that make mistakes. There's droves that make mistakes. There's judges that everybody makes mistakes. So it can happen, but there's way more or less of the mistakes.
That's not the norm.
It's not the norm, guys. So please try not to be scared to get rated for what you deserve. That's always been my motto. Our motto is not to get to 100%. It's to get what I, in my opinion, is to get what you deserve based on either your service-connected disabilities or your secondaries associated to your primaries. So yeah. All right. I know we got a ton of questions, so let's keep going. What else we got?
Let's see here.
All right.
Oh,
Corporal home duty, and he's really active.
Yeah. So corporal on duty. What does it mean if the VA never called me back for the RFE for a mental health condition in 2 to 5 years? On the decision letter, it says the assigned evaluation is not permanent and subject to a future review exam.
You just said your mental health was static in your last question. So now I'm thoroughly confused, but I'm going to touch basis on this. An RFE is a routine future exam, guys. It's usually assigned with mental health. I had it. It was assigned in 2016. I had my routine future exam in 2021.
Right.
It was not static, but you just said it was static at your 70%. So I'm not sure what's going on there because it can't be static and it can't have it can't have both.
I will comment on this because
I'm guessing it is. I can't find any word that says it.
so if the rating decision said that you were due for a routine future exam, there is a potential possibility that perhaps a review was done. Maybe you weren't notified of it. I'm not sure. That maybe they made it static. If I were you, and Chris, if you could put up that 1-800-1000 number again, call and see if they'll let you know if that condition is static or not. And if they won't, go to a VFW, American Legion, wherever you may want to go, and ask them. You can find an accredited claims agent, and they should be able to access your e-file and look at your last code sheet and tell you if that condition is static or not. Because,
Well, like I said, to answer Duty's question, an RFE is a routine future exam. So you either have a routine future exam or it's static. So
right, but what I'm saying is there could have been a review from the time he got his rating decision and they switched it to static because there was some of that going on, especially 2-3 years ago. So that's why I'm saying go find out what the status of your mental health condition is, because that could change things for you like in the future.
Well, and Duty, the thing that also is to get your rate. If that's your only disability, I mean, you can call the 800 number. They'll tell you if it's static or not, but you could get your rating code sheet. We have a video on that on YouTube on how to get it through a FOIA request. But if mental health is
asking a VSO would be a lot quicker though. I mean, honestly.
Yeah. But the 800 number, if you call them, you can always ask if your disability is static, or they'll tell you.
I'm not sure if they'll release that info. I'm not 100% on that. I could be wrong, but
Yeah,
they're not allowed to send the veterans their code sheets.
No, it's not a code sheet they're sending. What the 800 number has is like this, nowhere near what the code sheet looks like because that's contained in the C file, right? It's just something that says their disability, their percentage, and whether it's static or has a date with a month and a year. I have seen that come.
I don't know what it looks like for the call center people. That's why I'm like wondering if that's something they can release. But an accredited VSO could look real quick and tell you.
For sure. So I would ask that question.
Here's the video.
All right, and there's the video that we put in the comment section on how to get your rating code sheet. Guys, that's a very valuable document contained within your C file. So be sure to check that out as well. All right, what's our next question? Are you there, Ashley? You needed me to read?
I'm here.
Okay.
Let's see. Sorry, I'm scrolling through a bunch of stuff here.
Great, okay.
All right, so laughing guy, how do you find if you are getting CSDP? Where would it be located? What is it?
You should have gotten some sort of notification letter. Because if I'm not mistaken, these programs are more heavily audited and decided on by the DOD, and then VA just makes the adjustments based on what the DOD determinations is. Yep. So I think when you contact DOD, it can take a lot of time. Again, this might be an issue. Maybe you want to contact an accredited representative because they may be able to actually see the letter saying if you have that benefit or not, or that consideration. Right. I wish I had something better than that, but I'm not even sure if you called the call center that you would get somebody who was knowledgeable enough to give you an intelligent.
But what was his question? How does he know if he's getting it?
Yeah, so you should have received some sort of notification is what I'm thinking.
On the DOD side. Yes. Yeah.
But because it affects benefit payments, there should be a copy of that letter in your e-folder. So in your VA claims file. So that's why I'm saying maybe it might not be a bad idea for you to reach out to an accredited claims agent, or if you wanted to, the DOD, and see if that you're receiving the benefits
Yeah.
for that program.
Yeah, that's good. All right, next question. Goats. You got it. Ashley, you're not on. You're muted.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Next question is from Goat Spaniard. So, what is the timeline after a QTC CMP exam to be sent to the VA for a BDD claim, as it is also my SHA?
What is that shit? Well, I don't know what SHA
I don't
is.
So
acronyms.
timeline, guess what? The timelines for exams and everything, BDD claims, it depends on where you're stationed, what the availability is around base and everything. We can't give estimates on this stuff because they're so, it depends on what kind of exams they're requesting.
How busy they are.
How busy they are, availability, do they have the correct examiners, whatever. So unfortunately, we can't give you good information on the time frame.
And a BDD, you're not going to find out your rating until you're a veteran. It's not
So-
like when you're medically retiring or medically separating where they give you the proposed rating.
So I
They don't
will
do that to
say,
you.
I have dealt with several people lately with the BDD claims.
Yeah.
I am still seeing the majority of BDD claims are being processed, if not prior to discharge, I would say within 60 days of discharge. But I have seen some outliers lately that have been maybe even as far as 4 months post discharge, where they're getting their evaluations.
But they're
even
not getting
in
their
the-
rating while they're active duty.
Yeah, so I mean, it's really too hard to tell, and I wish I could tell you that there was something weird that happened that held everything up, but there wasn't. Everything was right. Everything was right on par. We can't make those.
But I
Is-
mean,
Is that acronym the Special Home Adaptation?
what is SHA?
The Special Home Adaptation? That's
Special
what I just.
housing adoption? Oh,
Yeah, that's what I just Googled.
well, that's what I thought it was, but I didn't understand how that was pertaining
But
to
you
an
have
active
to you have to be evaluated for that. So
right.
Oh, okay.
And you have to be a veteran at that point.
yeah,
But-
and I mean, for that stuff, it's more your medical records and stuff. It's not like they're
Yeah.
not going to look at your house until like maybe they say that you're eligible for it. Then maybe someone will come. look at
Right.
it.
But to recap, so the answer to it is once you've had all your exams, you've done your claims within the appropriate time for the BDD.
Oh, okay, we are wrong. Separation health assessment.
That's
So-
what I thought. Separation health assessment. Thanks, Goat. Okay.
Well, that's really weird because I just like talked
Yeah.
to somebody who was doing like the special housing adaptation that was getting off active duty. So that was
That's what I
my
thought.
mind was.
That's where all our minds went to. But
Well, yeah, I Googled it
Yeah.
real quick and it says Special Housing Adaptation. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah. So just be
So-
patient. I mean, really at max, I've seen like 4 months at post service, but I mean, the vast majority that they're processing are,
pretty quick.
I'd say, very close to the end of active duty or within 60 days. Of
Yeah.
the,
And keep in mind, active duty is not the same as veterans, guys. So when you do get out, if, let's say you got out tomorrow in July, your first VA compensation is not going to be till September 1st for August. VA pays in the arrears. So keep that in mind, guys, that the VA pays in the arrears. So September 1st pays August. So keep that in mind as active duty folks that are transitioning to becoming veterans. All right, what's our next question?
Okay, so this next one is from MK Ultra Vibes.
Mick Ultra.
So-
That's Big Ultra,
That's Mick Ultra
Mick
vibes
Ultra?
right there.
what great names tonight. Oh my
I
goodness.
know.
right?
I love the names.
What does favorable findings mean? He claimed a bilateral ankle and the right was denied, but favorable findings. The left side was in service. Should I wait until the left side's rated? So I'm assuming that was like a back or a neck injury,
The left
and
side.
he's claiming bilateral to.
So favorable findings, and I'm gonna let Jackie kind of touch bases on this as well, but they now have to go on all the rating decisions. They have to provide the favorable findings. Favorable finding doesn't mean you're going to get rated because
Means
you
you've
have
got the
favorable,
diagnosis, but it may not be connected.
and you or you could, right, like you could, like most of them say the VA examiner diagnosed you on such and such date with such and such disability, and the veteran's thinking, well, why wasn't I rated and service connected? Well, that's because you were missing the link to service. You were missing the link to secondary to primary. So but favorable findings have to be in the ratings, right, Jackie? All decisions now, they have to provide that.
For denials.
Correct.
Only for denials.
Yes.
So favorable findings, and I know it can be super confusing because sometimes some things you claim, you get denied and you get, oh my God, like 5 different favorable findings. And you're like, why wasn't this service connected?
Right.
Because it didn't meet all the elements of service connection. So basically what favorable findings was the new age VA wanting to tell you what you got right about your claim. So for example, you have been diagnosed with a disability. You have been diagnosed with an ankle sprain. Super, that's a favorable finding. You sprained your ankle in service. Okay, well, we have an event in service. That's a favorable finding. The examiner did not find a link between your initial single ankle complaint in service and your current ankle disability.
There's been 30
You don't
years.
have a nexus. So you have 2 out of 3, what would be considered like potential favorable findings. So you're denied. So
Right.
basically when you look at a favorable finding, it's like the things that the VA looks at favorable in your like, what's the word I'm looking for? Help me out, guys.
What?
Your scenario.
Your-
Case.
In your favor.
In your favor?
Yeah, it's the favorable things the VA found in your favor to support your claim. So if you look at it, like, you know, because you need the 3 elements of service connection. I'm not going to beat a dead horse and go over this right now, but 3, right? For direct service connection, if you have 2 favorable findings, that means you're missing something. So they're going to do it. For things like, I don't know, tinnitus and hearing loss, there could be 5 favorable findings. But if you don't meet all these elements, then you're not going to be service connected. And it gets a little more complicated. And personally, I know a lot of people that I've talked to that work at the VA, nobody likes favorable findings. They think they're confusing. To the veteran, and I agree with that so much. I think if you have people who are writing the favorable findings who don't understand always why they're writing the favorable findings,
Yep.
then how are they supposed to think that the veterans are able to understand it? And I think it makes it very confusing. And I think that we should write better narratives to make the veterans understand, which are changes that I've definitely like suggested to like VFW and stuff and like put offline. But you know, it takes time to change things and whatnot. So I get the favorable findings can be confusing, but just remember, like if you're requesting service connection based on how you claim it, you still have to meet these certain elements to meet service connection. And the favorable findings are saying you had this positive, so you had a diagnosis or you had an injury, something. These are the good things that we found going through your claims that support your claim, but you were missing something. That's essentially what they're saying.
Right. So just, but that we always get that question. Well, I had favorable findings. Why am I not service connected? So to circle back to the answer is the VA has to provide the favorable findings, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're service connected. You're still missing that link, that element to get.
There's something missing.
There's something missing, either primary or secondary. Uh-oh. Chris says we can't wait to hear what Jackie says about this one. Go ahead, Ashley.
Ashley, is she there?
She's there. Nope. Okay. Why do they, this is from Thompson. Why do they give us veterans such a hard time with sleep apnea when so many of us have it? I knew she was going to go away.
I'll let you take it, Steph.
Well, I'm going to say this first as a personal. My husband has sleep apnea and he's not rated for it. Unfortunately, sometimes we have disabilities that are not always due to service. Second of all, Sleep apnea is not presumptive. So get that out of the air, guys. Sleep apnea is not presumptive due to Gulf War or burn pits. So why do we all, if we all have it, I don't have sleep apnea. Not everybody has it, but I do know the majority of veterans do have it. Blake, I'm going to give this
Yeah,
to
give it to
Blake.
Blake.
I'm going to give this to Blake first, and then we're going to go to Jackie
Oh, we
about
don't need to go to me. I'm good.
medical. Go ahead, Blake, about the medical and sleep apnea.
There are so many things that are more likely to cause your sleep apnea than PTSD or other things that it's not even funny. If you are a male, you're more likely to have sleep apnea. If you are overweight, you're more likely to have sleep apnea. Just because you were in the service 20 years ago and didn't have it when you were there, or it wasn't complained about, or you weren't tested.
Or Blake, what about the pro? Like the deviated septum or something? Wasn't there?
Right. If you have a deviated septum, if you have a medical reason for it that is also service connected, then they, all they want is somebody to say, this is why they have sleep apnea due to this. Sleep apnea is, in 90% of the cases, caused by a physical issue. There's about 10% that PTSD can cause, but as a whole, for someone to say it is more likely than not that this is a mental issue is going way out. Jackie?
There we go, Jackie.
Come on, Jackie.
Come on, Jackie.
You know, I'm just not really in the mood for it tonight. So I will say,
Damn it.
I'm sorry you guys missed out on my fire, but
But
I
Thompson,
will
back.
say, listen,
Okay.
medical opinions are like buttholes. Everybody has one, including every doctor, Stephanie, Blake, me, Ashley. Some of us are more qualified than others, Blake. However, just because, so when the VA asks for medical opinions, they're asking for a opinion. So based on that examiner's experience, knowledge, everything, they're saying, do you think this causes this? And some examiners
Yeah, I want to answer that.
think, yeah, it might.
I want
Guess
to.
what? Some examiners say, guess what? I don't. Guess what? If you read the medical literature, and I've read a lot of it, it's a mixed bag. It really is. It's like 50-50. So, I mean, like, who's wrong? Is it the people who say it is or the people who says it isn't? I don't really know. There's no definitive answers. We know certain things increase your chance of having sleep apnea. A lot of it comes from gaining a lot of weight, and that's how a lot of veterans try to say, like, service connected, like, I'm fat because of this, or I gained a lot of weight because of this. It's just the way it is, right? Just because an examiner or somebody thinks that, that's not the main factor, and just because somebody thinks doesn't mean they're wrong. It's an opinion. So, I mean, I guess that's really what I have to say about it. Really depends on who you ask, and nobody's really wrong when they give it a medical opinion, because we're asking.
There are people out there that will gladly give you whatever opinion you want to hear for the right amount of money.
Yeah, if you go out and pay for an page IMO,
Right.
Come on,
So don't get mad when you hire the same person that 550,000 other veterans hired to write the same opinion verbatim, and they send it for another opinion, you get denied. That's all I'm going to say.
Guy on a couch, throw that right there. So we're gonna just follow up with this right here, because guy on a couch, we've had this discussion where veterans are confused about this. So took me 3 times to finally get sleep apnea connected. I was lucky enough to have it combined with my asthma and connected secondary to rhinitis. Well, first of all, guys, I want to make this very, very clear about sleep apnea and asthma. You can't be rated for both. So it's either one or the other, with the higher the rating of sleep apnea or asthma. So you got them combined, and you have it which I'm assuming your asthma is higher than your sleep apnea or vice versa.
But there's a causation.
But the thing is it's secondary to rhinitis, guy on the couch, because your rhinitis caused it. But just to make it clear to the audience, you cannot be rated for sleep apnea and asthma separately. You can have both, but you can't be rated separately under the respiratory system for both. So anyway, I just wanted to clarify that one. So what's our next
I
question?
don't know where we left off.
I don't know, because you're too busy in the chat, private chatting each other. Come on. I got places to be.
Okay, so next one, same corporal on duty. So the VA will not look at your other conditions if you open up a Pact Act claim.
Didn't we just
We
cover this?
definitely
They will.
already
They
addressed this. It's possible. It is possible. Is it dependent on what the Pact Act claim and what you're already service connected for and how you're claiming it? The potential is always there. It shouldn't scare you into filing a new complaint. We've already addressed this like 3 times
Yes.
tonight. Moving on.
Yes.
Most of the questions, that's all good.
Okay.
Okay, so from Hans Mantra. So I had a claim for traumatic TBI. Causation is in my medical record with bleeding from the ears and writing. The CMP examiner was telling me during the exam that it would be denied, and it was.
The examiner told you it was going to be denied, and it was. Examiner shouldn't be telling you what's going to be denied or not. That's up to the rater.
It even says on the letter that there was an event, but basically not diagnosed.
Are you rated for mental health? I'm just curious because typically mental health and TBI share symptoms, and Blake can address that on the medical side. But if you had the same symptoms, sharing the same symptoms with mental health and TBI, are you? I guess that's my question. If you can put the answer, and then these
I
two.
mean, it really doesn't matter if he's service connected for mental health or not. I mean, like you said, first and foremost, the fact that the examiner said that to you is wrong.
Yeah.
Report that examiner. They shouldn't have said a single thing to you that was unprofessional, not in their contact. They were not a rater. The VA asked them for medical opinions. They are not in charge for service connection. Stay in your lane, report that examiner.
Right.
With that being said, bleeding from the ears, great. Yes, we know that could be a symptom of a TBI, but was there proof of an event in service? Did you provide buddy letters if it wasn't documented? Do you meet the DSM-5 criteria for a traumatic brain injury? Not all people who have had concussions experience a TBI. So like there is a number of different things that go into TBI claims. They're very sympathetically read. I would personally I would do an appeal or request like a new examination just based on the examiner's unprofessionalism saying that the claim would be denied. That's garbage.
Yeah.
You should absolutely report that when examiners pull that garbage because that's not their function and it's unprofessional.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I don't know if you heard me ask you the question or not, but I was just curious if you were rated for mental health because a lot of veterans ask why they're not rated for TBI separately. Now, there are some that are rated separately for TBI because they don't share the symptoms.
Right.
But if they share the symptoms, they're going to combine mental health with TBI.
Right. And I totally get where you're going with that stuff. But I mean, the fact of the matter is he's still claiming TBI. It would still be addressed with mental health, whether, you know what I mean? Anyway, that's what I would suggest for that, for sure.
Right. All right. So we got a next question.
Okay, so an anonymous. So knowing all that you each know about the claims process and dealing with the VA, what would be your best advice? Things you've learned that you wish you knew before, or any hacks that you know to the system to simplify the VA runaround?
A, the VA doesn't give you the runaround. B, know what the CFR says and know whether or not you meet the criteria for a rating. That's as simple as that. If you know if you know what criteria you meet and you know that it's documented in your record, you will know your rating before you ever file your claim.
And know what medical records should be pertinent to your claim so that you're not inundating the rater with thousands and hundreds of pages of medical records. Keep your claim short and simple. Provide the medical records to support the claim. Provide any of your own statements to support your claim. Any witness or layman or family or friends statements to support it. And be knowledgeable on your claim. And like I said, don't give the claim hundreds and hundreds of pages of records. Give the records that are pertinent to the claim. And don't go providing an 8-page nexus letter.
Right.
Right.
I will give you an example of myself and use myself as it. I have 7 pages of medical records total in my service record.
Wow.
Right.
Now, I am a physician and I treated myself for 20 years. But when it came time to do a claim, I knew what was secondary to my primary that I was retired with. I went in, I made sure that when I went to my C&P exam, when I spoke with everyone, that I let them know what symptoms I was having, how often. I had all that down. I knew what my rating would be coming out. I missed it by 10%. I got a 90%, and it was only because my rater my initial C&P examiner didn't know what they were talking about, didn't even know what the disease I had was, and I had to go back and request a second C&P exam from someone who knew what they were doing.
Okay, and I'm gonna caveat on Blake real quick. With me, I didn't know. I seeked and sought information. I joined a couple of VA groups until I found this group. With my anxiety, my depression, I didn't actually reach out, but I read what other veterans was saying and other veterans was trying to claim. So I built my own evidence. I, had already seen a couple of therapists while I was in service and out of service. Went to physical therapy for my back, acupuncture, back injections. I did all the things that was required. But I still was hesitant on actually filing until I reached out to Stephanie herself, and my records was solid. I had a solid foundation. I knew exactly what I should say in my statements from basic training on, and then how it affects me now as a person, as a civilian. How does my time in service affect me? And I was able to file. I filed myself, never reached out to a VSO, and I got 90%. Now, my 90% from then was reduced. It was reduced to 80% because I, claimed sleep disturbances. I claimed it's a battling. There's no right or wrong answer. It's all about what you can claim in your time, what you can prove with what you're trying to claim, if that makes sense to anybody. But no, I was reduced from 90% to 80%, and then I just got awarded my 90%.
All right, guys, we got 25 minutes and we got a ton of questions, so let's try and pal these out, because there's holy crap, we got a lot of questions. All right, Mary, go ahead, Ashley.
All right. So if someone's MOS in the Army was NBC, okay, they can put a Pact Act claim, exposure to toxics.
All right, I'm just gonna grab it because Mary, I owe you an email. I checked while we were on, and yes, it got stuck in my outbox again. I'm sorry, my Gmail is full. I really am just an awful person with my technology. I'm gonna email you back, but yes, and your claim did consider this stuff going forward. So you're absolutely right. And that's how your claim was put in. So again, tonight, look for an email and we can address anything else.
Awesome. Next question. You're muted.
Millie, if a claim had previously been filed secondary to mental health, but is now a condition under the Pact Act, do we do the 20-0995 as a primary?
Just going to take it so we can move on. Yes, absolutely. Claim it any way you want, any way you can get it granted. Yes, file the claim, moving on.
Next.
Okay, so back to corporal on duty. So my VA CMP examiner diagnosed me with something entirely different from what the VA did. And told me sometimes they are not experienced and don't know what they're doing. LOL. I mean, they're just basically looking at your records. So, but they should know, I mean, what they're actually doing the CMP exam for.
It depends if they sent you to a specialist for the CMP and your primary diagnosed you with one thing. When you went to the specialist said, no, I think it's this. So they would probably take the specialist's word for it. I filed for insomnia, and basically the psych in my CMP diagnosed me with anxiety because of my issue of needing sleep.
And I'm just going to say, like, Blake, I mean, you can attest to this. Again, different examiners, different doctors. I mean, for me, I was originally diagnosed with fibromyalgia. Surprise, not fibromyalgia. You have lupus. Big difference in treatment, big difference in everything. So, like, you know, not every doctor. Guess what?
Actually, that's probably one of the most misdiagnoses out there.
Right. But what I'm saying is, what do they call the first doctor? The valedictorian in the doctor class, whatever. And what do they call the last doctor? They call them doctors. So, you know, there's going to be discussions and stuff for proper diagnoses. Just off the top of my head, what they see a lot is like rhinitis, sinusitis, like respiratory stuff like that. So, you know, you have the information, let them clarify it and everything. Give them the records and let them figure it out. That's all you can do.
Doctors that make A's make researchers. Doctors that make B's make administrators. Make C's make money.
Now, what did you make?
A little bit of all three, believe it or not.
Okay.
I believe it. Blake's a great doctor.
Yes.
He was valedictorian.
Oh, I was
No. He
I'll
was
put it this way.
not.
I went through med school with a wife and 2 kids, and my nickname in my class was the tail gunner because I knew where the curve was going to fall, and I knew where I hit.
Hey, it's wisdom, you know? It's wisdom. Being a doctor is wisdom.
All right, next question. I think there's a part right behind this, right, Chris?
Yeah.
Goldilocks. So a veteran filed for a mental health condition 20 years ago and it was denied. A veteran files again. The VA writes a letter back saying he filed for the same condition 20 years ago.
And
I'm gonna
wait a minute. Put the second part.
I got
Does
it.
that
I already
seem
can tell you
odd?
what it is, stuff. It's a request for application. You filed the wrong form. You probably filed it on a 526EZ, which is a claim for an original thing. If you filed it and were previously denied, you need to file an 0995, which is a supplemental claim. You need to include some new evidence, and then they'll move forward with it. Once you've been denied for anything, the 526 is not appropriate. You have to file a supplemental claim.
To reopen
You
it.
said that was an 0995?
Hold on. We're going too fast. So most likely what that veteran did is filed it under the VA 21-526 EZ. That is what you need to file it under, the VA 20-0995, to reopen any previously denied claim with new evidence. You can't just reopen it with the same evidence. You have to file with new evidence. So that's probably what happened. All right,
Okay.
Next question.
All right.
Hold on.
Andy. So this is from Mr. Jeff. So Jackie, can you explain how the claims are processed? Do multiple people work on your claims, doing individual actions, or checking certain boxes as the claims move through the process?
So from what I know, there are particular, jobs. So you get your claim in and they're screened by like a veteran service representative, which is a VSR. So they're going to do the preliminary development. They're going to make sure that the VA has your service treatment records, your personnel records. They're going to make sure your DD-214's in there. They're going to start ordering exams and whatnot. Once we get everything back from there, then it's going to go most likely to a rater to make a decision on the claim. There's checklist and processes and classes and learning and continuous training. Even for us VSOs, I can't even tell you how much time like VA really invest in training, and it's a really difficult job. So, as much as like everybody loves to hate on the VA, again, I will say that most people working for the VA that I've come personally in contact with, grant if you can, deny if you must. Like, nobody wants to do a bad job on your claim. Everybody has their own, remember, it's a job, they're getting paid for it. So they have production requirements, quality requirements, and all sorts of other stuff. So, if you get reduced or, like something's unfavorable and stuff, nobody's doing it because it's they're trying to deny veterans till they die. That's so dramatic and so they think it's so much easier now for service connection. They really do. And they work continuously with the veteran organizations and Congress and everything. Unfortunately, anything government related is bureaucratic. There's a lot of red tape and stuff, but just know these people truly, the majority of them always have your best interest at heart. They're doing the best they can for you. A lot of people who work for VA could make a lot more money with other jobs, and they choose to do what they do because they feel like what they do is important. Same thing with us VSOs and people like Steph and Blake and Ashley and me who volunteer our time and do this stuff. Everybody's trying to do the best they can. You as a veteran, you have to do your part. You have to submit the proper evidence, lay statements, the medical records, and all this stuff. There's a lot of moving parts and a lot of different things. So,
It's a team effort.
yeah, it's a team effort. And if you're ever interested in the claims process, you can always look up in the M21. It tells you exactly what they have to do and what they're required to do and all that stuff. So if you ever get bored and you want some light reading, feel free.
All right, next question.
So Mama times 6. So I'm asking for someone else, but cervical or lumbar myofascial syndrome and fibromyalgia considered the same system. Andy.
The simple answer is no, they are not. One is fibromyalgia is considered rheumatological, meaning a disease of connective tissues in the joints, while cervical or lumbar myofascial pain syndrome is a musculoskeletal issue. So no, they are not the same system.
Okay. Next question.
So I just received my decision letter, and it states basic eligibility to dependents educational assistant based on permanent and total disability. Status is established from April 24, 2022. I got 100%, but does that mean it's PNT?
Yes, it does.
Because you don't get those benefits unless you're PNT. The answer is yes.
Congratulations, your children go to college for free.
Yes. Well, not necessarily. They get a stipend
Right.
for college.
They will pay for tuition, though.
Well, that's other things. The Chapter 35 benefit is a stipend that the dependent receives monthly to use for whatever they want. But yes, that means you are 100% PNT Be sure to go in our Facebook group and search 100. Just in the search, put 100, and it'll pop up the saved post that we have with everything associated to 100% PNT that you could be eligible for. Congrats on getting what you deserve. Hi, Andy.
All right. Next is from a anonymous. So thanks for your efforts. Thanks for the efforts you do to assist the veterans, helping veterans population. Is the expense to operate this group funded by any specific agencies or strictly by membership donations?
Me and that dude right there. Yep. All our money has gone into our YouTube channel. With our camera and our computer equipment, we do this just to help veterans, but we do have options when veterans do want to donate, because we have been asked that question. So we do have that option that's available. You can email me and I can provide that information. We do take donations, but that is completely up to you. And hopefully here in the next probably few weeks, our YouTube will actually be monetized, and we'll be able to have donation options available when we're doing our lives. But again, we bought the equipment out of our own pockets, and we're doing this for veterans. And my moderators, God love them, and my husband come on to do the live twice a month.
And Andy.
And Andy.
What is he?
Right? To answer your questions. To answer your questions to the best of their ability. So, that's what we do. And that's why the Facebook group's there. That's why the YouTube's there. That's why we put out videos. So that's the answer.
All right. So next is from Mr. Steve. So Gulf War, Desert Storm vet, and have had several battles with rhinitis, sinusitis. I've recently been diagnosed with sleep apnea. How difficult is it to tie these together?
Well, that one. Go ahead, Blake, with the medical on the rhinitis and sinusitis.
Well, depends on how frequently you say several battles. It depends on how frequently. The CFR does give guidelines for how often you have to have what it's considered for that to be had. So you can get it service connected at 0% because it's a presumptive. Now, as far as a rating goes, you have to have so many documented bouts that last an X number of weeks and on antibiotics for them to get for sinusitis at least to get rated. Tying sleep apnea into that, again, once you get those rated, then all you need is a statement in your medical record that your sleep apnea is either aggravated or caused by your chronic.
You can actually file at the same time, primary and secondaries.
Yeah, you can file them at the same time, but you need a statement in your record, at least from your physician, that that the chronicity of the sinus and sinusitis and rhinitis contribute to the sleep apnea, contribute to cause or aggravate.
We got this going right in.
All right. Go
Real
ahead.
quick before we go to the next question, if you don't mind, Jeff B made another comment for the question I answered for him. It's like how many people touch your claim. So just real quick. So basically, like there's intake and then potentially contractors, dependent if you require records or not, and then VSR dependent on how many steps have to be taken. If they have to request certain records, it's not going to go back to the other VSR. They're going to keep checking on it when it's ready for a decision. If all decisions could be made, one rater, but if something has to be deferred or whatever else, is going to go to another rater. Once a decision is made on the claim, it's going to go to an authorizer, maybe the quality person, and then so
it goes to a bunch of people.
Yeah, so it's at least 7 or 8 people who are going to touch your claim, at least.
And Chris, put that question back up because it goes with what we were just talking about. This goes with what about with Steve's question about the sinusitis and rhinitis. Go ahead, Ashley.
Okay, so Marine Corps, big G or big B.
Yeah, welcome
So
back.
he has chronic sinusitis, rhinitis, GERD, weight gain, PTSD. He takes multiple meds and have since before exiting service, and he's been denied sleep apnea at least 5 times.
All right, hold on.
Hold on. And hold
So
on.
would rhinitis be the same as asthma, and that you can't have that rated and sleep apnea at the same time?
So
You can't have sleep apnea and asthma, but go ahead, Ash. Go ahead, Jackie.
rhinitis and asthma can be rated separately. They're not under the pyramid rules, so whatever. So you said obesity, so I'm just going to say, like, for VA to concede that obesity is caused by like a service-connected condition, it needs to meet 3 things. The service-connected disability that you're claiming made you obese had to have caused the veteran to become obese, right? The obesity as a result of the service-connected disability must have been the most substantial factor in causing the obesity or aggravating the claimed disability. And the claimed disability would have not occurred if not for the obesity. So depending on how you claimed it, there's a lot of stuff going on there. You're claiming a lot of stuff based on the sleep apnea. So, okay, so you're obese before going out. Okay, so with that being said,
He's been denied 5 times. What's going on?
So did you have sleep apnea before you got out? Because it doesn't sound like you did. So if you were already obese before you got off of active duty as a Marine, then you didn't have sleep apnea, then maybe the obesity did not cause your sleep apnea. Just a thought. If there's other medications that maybe you think may have caused it, you need to explicitly claim due to medications, due to obesity, due to these conditions. The VA is not going to, tie these all up with a little bow for you. You need to be very specific in what you're claiming and whatnot. But ultimately, with all that stuff going on, I mean, really, what is the cause of your obesity? Blake just said that it could be because you're male. It could be because you're overweight. It could be because medications you're on, it may be due to something. Okay, so you weren't diagnosed for several years. However, you have no diagnosis in service. So, I mean, it is what it is. If you want to message me on the Facebook page, I'm happy to hear what you have to say, comment on it, a little more specific to your case.
Yeah, and I want to throw something out there. Does he take Prozac by chance? I'm just curious because I actually have a letter from my personal doctor back when I was.
You know what the thing is that Ashley, Prozac does not make everybody gain weight. Like mental health drugs do not make everybody gain weight. I mean,
I know.
It's just situation.
But I have a legit letter that states like.
I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
You don't want to ask me my opinion because
no, I mean y'all see my private messages. Like I'm just trying to.
USMC Big B, I'm a Marine too. I am happy to discuss this with you further. Go ahead, message me on the Facebook page where we can spend a little more time on it because we're winding down.
There are very few medications that actually make you gain weight. There are medications that make you hungry.
No, I mean I have an actual letter from my private doctor in Maryland when I was stationed in Maryland that states that because I was on Prozac, it makes me crave carbs.
But I mean, that can be specific to you. It doesn't mean it's specific to him. And I guess that's what I'm saying. There's a bunch of things. Like I said, please message me. You can tell me the specifics of your case and we can talk it out.
Okay. All right, Tracy, Miss Tracy. So, or Mr. So, hi guys. Can you use a previous CMP examiner's DBQ to a supplemental exam?
It's already evidence of record.
Yep, she's right. Evidence of record doesn't matter. Nope, you have to submit relevant evidence, and that doesn't count.
Yeah, we're coming up to about 5 minutes left, so I think we've got a few more questions. We've got Jared and we've got Peace. So why don't we put those up?
Yeah, we gotta put these up. And that's,
Okay, so Mr. Gerald, so hi, sorry I'm late, got the time messed up.
No
I've been
worries.
diagnosed with IBS by a private doctor. VA has denied me twice. It's getting worse. I have an appointment with my private doctor tomorrow.
Well, first of all, I'm going to answer this. Why were you denied twice? What's in your denials as to why you were denied? Did you file a primary? Did you file a secondary? Your denials are going to tell you why you were denied. Just because you have IBS, you've got to prove, was the IBS caused due to service? Was the IBS caused for presumptive? Is the IBS secondary to something primary? So, like for me,
Again,
I'm rated IBS 30%. It's due to service. So
again, that goes back to the favorable findings. Just because you have a diagnosis doesn't mean it's going to get rated. The diagnosis is a favorable finding. Service
Right.
connection is a whole different finding.
You gotta figure out what's causing the IBS or what caused the IBS. And if you've got the denials, feel free to shoot me an email if you want, Jared. And if you want to redact your denials with your personal information, I'll go ahead and read them and share them with the team, and we'll give you our opinions after sharing them back to you. But without seeing the denials, it's really hard to say what, we would just be kind of guessing right now. So,
Yeah, if you can provide the denial.
Yeah. Oh, I love this question. Go ahead, Ashley.
Okay, so Peace Beer. So if you are over 55 and at 100%, do I automatically become TNP? If not, how do I qualify? No, you don't.
No, you don't. The 55-year rule is no re-examination so long as you don't open any new claims. You don't automatically become PNT at the age of 55. So my question to you is, are you 100% total right now? That means you probably have disabilities that have a future exam. So that's my take on it. Anybody else?
Same.
Jackie? Ash?
No, ma'am.
So that's pretty much it. If that's pretty much the answer to you, Peace, is you don't become automatically TMP at the age of 55. It's not like, I guess, Social Security where you start drawing at 60 something. But anyways, all right, guys, we made it an hour and a half. Oh, wow. This was a great night, guys. This was awesome. This is the most we probably had, right?
thank you for everyone.
Yeah. So I appreciate you guys coming on, my crew, and coming on and helping with the questions. Anybody that has not joined our Facebook group, please join our Facebook group. Be sure to answer all the questions. It's not that hard. You answer the questions, you're in. You don't answer them, you're not. Pretty basic.
That includes agreeing with the rules.
Yes.
And agreeing with the rules. And as soon as you come in, don't start breaking the rules.
Hey, and if we say reach out.
Yeah.
You might not get an immediate answer. Give us a day or two, but you'll get something.
We'll get back to
You
you.
know.
And, yeah.
We're not telling you for our help. We're telling you because we want to help you.
And
Right.
subscribe to our YouTube channel. And Chris, pop up the email one more
A lot
time.
of videos.
A lot of videos out there. We've got we're gonna have there's our email. So tonight, if you have any further questions or you need help, go ahead, email us, redact any personal information on any documents you send to us an email. We'll try to get the answers. I think our next one we're gonna kind of be working on is a 3-part series on death indemnity compensation and benefits that go with it. So
What did you say? You said death and what?
Death indemnity compensation, DIC, along
Okay.
with funeral benefits, along with life insurance, wills, probate, all that. It's going to be a 3-part series. It's going to take us a little time to do it. We'll get it out. But again, we appreciate everybody for coming on tonight. I appreciate all of you guys. Andy, you be good boy.
Hi, Andy. Be good for Mom.
Bye, guys. Everybody have a good night.
Good night, y'all. Love
Bye.
y'all.
Love you too. Bye.